Minute meetings. Meeting
I'll
minute.
take it.
Okay.
They'll be pretty brief.
Yeah, that'll be the last thing I need for the newsletter. It's otherwise ready to go out, except when Rich decides to send me his president's letter. So
Yeah. Okay, well, welcome. I don't see anybody new, so we can move on from that. Officers' reports. Do we have any, see, the, okay.
I think your wife.
Yeah, I
wife's
don't have
the only
anything from
one.
Rich, and Judy will be here in just a minute. So, but anyway, welcome, guys. We've got about, what, another 48 hours left of this mess, and then it'll go away.
I hope so.
Oh, man.
mm,
Yeah, but I guess the lawsuits are gonna start flying like crazy.
I hope so. Get some of this crap resolved. I mean, ERCOT.
Nah, I don't think I really don't think it will. I think it'll just continue to fester.
You're probably right.
Yeah, then when we have the heat wave in the summer, it'll start all over again. Okay, Judy's back. Do you have your report, Judy?
Yes, I haven't made any of the deposits for all the due checks that Skip has sent me. I've sent out Ralph, did you get your check?
I did. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Peter, you got yours?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, all right. And
Well,
Rick-
it comes in, I deposit it next,
and then Rick, yours will be on the way.
Okay, no
Yes.
problem.
Well, you'll have to exercise your signature hand again soon here once I get the next newsletter out. I'm just waiting on one or two quick articles.
Okay.
This
Well, the
meeting
three-
and Rich.
Well, the three of you will get a check once a month. Ralph for the storage unit, Rick for the Zoom, and then Peter, you for the newsletter.
And where's my check?
Judy, do I need to send you a notice every month, or you know that I'm
No.
automatic? Okay, thank you.
'Cause
It's
he-
being paid automatically on my card.
Yeah, that's it. So I knew you didn't have a way of providing an invoice, so no.
Thank you.
Yeah. Rick, yours was an awesome looking invoice. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
they send me out an invoice every month, so.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
comes in
good.
PDF format, so
All right.
get it over to you.
And Peter's always sent me an invoice, so. But that, the treasurer's doing fine. We've got plenty of money, just need something to spend it on.
But yes, we give everybody that's attending a gift certificate.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
You have no idea how much trouble it was to get here tonight.
how many?
Particularly from the back country there.
Yeah.
You got snow accumulation between one room and the other.
He's up there in the mountains.
Yeah, how many gift certificates do we want to give away?
3,
3? All right. We'll do that after
because we
the,
usually give 2 at Euless, so we'll give an extra one away.
all right. So that means there's going to be 3 lucky people.
Out of 6, so you got a 50-50 chance of.
Yes, you do.
Okay, well, I guess that's it on officer reports. Ralph, how about the expo?
Yeah, how about the expo? I need to get a Zoom meeting together,
Okay,
and I know I had indicated that I would do that, but I have been swamped. Actually, after this meeting, I then go into an international meeting, which takes me to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
So
my
Lord.
gosh.
it's been pretty hectic this last few weeks.
okay.
But at least I'm healthy and family's doing well.
Yeah,
Oh,
Good.
just let me know whenever you want to do that.
okay.
Yeah, let me see if I can't just put it on the books, because if I don't do something to put it in at least sand, if not cement, it won't happen.
Okay.
What is the evening of the 26th? That's a Friday evening. How does that look for people?
February, yeah, wide open here, so
Right open here.
Yeah.
We're
Does
not
that
going
work for
anywhere.
you, Rick?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay, so why don't we do 7 o'clock on Friday, the
26.
26th?
All
Okay.
right.
And I'll try to get documents out. I have had another difficulty, and that is because we had some construction, I moved my office, my professional office, to a room downstairs. But all of my Mid-City Stamp Club and everything else is on a computer that's in my room upstairs. Well, unfortunately, in that process, my internet connectivity to that became very iffy, and it became difficult for me to receive or send on that computer. So
Okay.
I've been trying to get a document which exists only on that computer into an email that I can send from this computer. So
Okay.
sorry, I'm usually not so technically challenged. I blame my age and infirmities, but I'm probably one of the youngsters here, so I can't do that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, Ken, I've got a box of those foreign stamps that we talked about on email. And I'm
Right,
just
yes.
wondering if I can just drop them by your house sometime.
Of course, yes, anytime, yeah.
Okay, well, we go to the movies once a week, and if we go Friday or Saturday, I'll give you a heads up. And
Yeah,
we'll
just give
come
me a
by.
heads up, and we're not going anywhere.
Okay, all right, because I'd love to get rid of that box.
All right, so.
I'm still swimming in weary stamps.
so,
Peter, I don't have any of those.
let me know.
Yeah, Peter, I don't have any of those transportations that you asked about.
yeah, well, there was that circus stamp that came
Yeah.
out like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and there was a 50-cent circus wagon. And I know there was a 5-cent circus wagon. I thought I was doing something with a couple of those older ones. And I thought it'd be nice to have some of those 5-centers to go with it, but oh well.
Peter, I have used ones if you'd like one.
No, I wanted some mint ones to
Uh-huh.
use in conjunction with the Imperf 50 centers from the Imperf press sheet,
Uh-huh.
kind of as a collectible type thing.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, why don't we just dispense with show and tell and make the show and tell the program?
Yes.
All right, well, I'll lead off.
Okay.
Our program tonight is my favorite stamp. And I'll let everybody guess what my favorite stamp is.
4.5 cents.
There you go.
Oh, I thought it was Christmas Island
was-
something or other.
No,
That was hard to figure out, Stan.
That was
Yeah,
hard to figure
yeah.
out, yes.
yeah, I'm still in the process of collecting them. These are some 4.5 cent pre-cancels. And once you go through the mint and the blocks and the stuff like that, what's left? Well, pre-cancels. And I have discovered over 2,000 different 4.5 cent pre-cancels. So they're growing all the time. And this is probably my favorite pre-cancel. Can everybody see this okay?
Matched plate block.
Yes, but this is a very scarce one. Only 2,000 of these were made.
Wow.
Yeah, and I paid $150 for these stamps years ago, so I have no idea what they're worth because they don't show up on eBay very much at all. But this was the Philadelphia pre-cancel done at in the DC, and it was a special printing, and not too many of the plate blocks survived. So, and this is my town and samples of my town and type. And you can tell there's a number under there. That is the pre-cancel society number for the type of cancel. And there's over 450 different types of cancels. So anybody that thinks that collects US and think that they've run out of things to collect, I would suggest you take a look at pre-cancels because I'll guarantee you'll never run out of US to collect. But
Well,
anyway,
that's for sure.
Do you think that every pre-cancel existed on the 4.5 cent stamp?
no, it did not. And normally there's only about one or two listed with the cities. Now in the catalog, they list the city, I mean the state, and then the city, and then the number. And I go onto eBay every day, and I've got my pre-canceled stamps marked, and I just go through all the ones that are posted for that day. And still, after several years, I'm still finding one or two new ones. And what I'll do is I'll put it on my watch list, and then I'll bid on it. And about half the time I get it, and then I pull the 4.5 cent stamp out of the bid mess, and the rest of them I put in an envelope, stick in a box, and label by city or state. And one day I'm going to put those back on eBay. So, but anyway,
Are there perfums for that?
I'm sorry, what?
Are there perfums for those?
Yes,
stamps?
there are perfects. They're very, very scarce. I've
So I
got,
imagine that'll be the next one.
yeah, I
you'll
got
do,
about
right?
10. I got about 10.
Now, Stanley, that's a number 809, Scott number.
Right. And
Is
844.
that your PIN number for your bank account?
Nope. Nope. No, Fred, no. I don't even remember what it is. She takes care of the money. I make it and she spends it, so I don't worry about it.
He has no control.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd help if I ever lose her.
I have the same arrangement.
Oh. Okay, Rick, what's your show and tell?
Well, I can actually show you that. Let's see if I can do a share screen here. I got both a show and tell and a favorite stamp, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the time up and do both of them.
Yeah.
Both, since there's just the 6 of us.
Okay. Here's the first one. It's a letter I got from Korea, South Korea. You guys see that okay?
We see your desktop.
Uh-huh.
See the,
And we see the nice bright sunshine coming through the window.
Yeah.
is that showing up at all?
No,
No,
Oh.
sir.
Okay, let me try that again.
there we go.
We see,
All right.
I got that from South Korea. It's a stamp that I ordered back in 2020, October, and it was mailed October 26th, 2020, and I received it February 13th, 2021,
Wow.
Okay.
3.5 months after it was mailed.
Wow.
Well, it's a
Why
nice, interesting sticker on there, but that's not
Yeah.
denominated, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think that's just kind of a customs thing, maybe. It has to go.
Surface mail, you don't expect to get there very fast, do you? It wasn't sent airmail.
Well, I just sent a Valentine's card to our grandson and his wife in Taiwan, and they got it in less than 2 weeks.
Oh, well, it's
But it
Korea.
would have got,
That's
it would have got
airmail,
airmail though, Judy.
That's
All outgoing international mail goes airmail now.
Oh, okay.
But inbound
Mail coming
mail,
from like Korea there doesn't go airmail.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
coming
if you
in
don't
from-
pay for it, no, they
Yeah.
don't have a choice. We don't have a choice here in the US. It's got to be airmail. There is no
Right.
surface mail, but other countries still have surface mail, and
Oh,
it'll go by the
okay.
slow boat from South Korea.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I thought everything went.
Well,
airmail.
yeah, US, because the problem was that I read years ago was, you send something to, say, Germany, and you said surface mail, and then the postal service, it goes to New York, and then it sits on a container on the dock until that container is full, and then it'll go on a ship. So it may just be sitting there for weeks on end. That's why surface mail always took like 2-3 months to get to Europe. I mean, the ocean crossing is only a week, but it may sit there because they're going to wait until the container is full.
Cool, yeah, okay.
Okay, this is what I had ordered from Korea. I guess you guys can see this one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Portuguese stamps. This was a winner in the what is that called? Asiago Philatelic Awards design contest, and I really think it's an unusual arrangement because it's got these bridges in Portugal, Europa stamps, but the perforations are like a simpler cross from Portugal. So I thought that was rather interesting.
Oh, the syncopated perfs, as they
Yeah.
call them. I think.
Yeah. So anyway, that was what I had ordered from South Korea.
Kind of neat, but why did you have to go order a Portuguese souvenir sheet from South Korea? Is that the only place you found it?
Because they're out of print, and
Oh, okay, it's not recent. Yeah, all right.
that was the only person I could find that had them on Del Camp. So that's where I got them from, on Del Camp. Okay. Let's see if I can get to the next one here. Okay. Favorite stamp. This is not my favorite stamp, but it's a stamp that brings back fond memories of collecting. Because when I was 9 years old, a friend of mine had this stamp, and I was so envious of it that I wanted this stamp very, very badly. So once I finally got it, I was a happy little boy. But it's just a stamp that I came across that brings back some good memories, you know. And I just thought I'd share that one with you guys.
But you know, that's a lot of stamps bring back good memories. I mean,
Yeah, it's you know, I think back on it, I was like 9 years old, and I still remember that. You know,
yeah,
kind of crazy, I guess. ADD or whatever.
no, but no, you know, I've always liked that stamp of Abraham Lincoln myself. I mean, it's just,
Well, I grew up in a place where they didn't really care that much for Abraham Lincoln,
oh, okay.
but you know, generations tend to forget things. So.
Well, plus that's got to be one of the few stamps that shows him without a beard.
True.
This is before the little girl told him he'd look better with a beard.
Right. And let's see, my personal favorite stamp is this one. I guess because it's always been my favorite because when I was a kid, I remember the 3-cent stamps were always so ugly for the most part. You know, they were so
Yeah, yes.
depressing looking. And then they came out with this wildlife conservation stamp with the whooping cranes on it. And I thought it was so pretty, you know, colorful and little baby whooping cranes there in a nest.
Yeah,
It was just
Well,
something
one
I
of the
liked.
earlier multicolor stamps, pretty much everything prior to that was usually just
Yeah,
monochromatic.
oh,
right. So that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, all right, Jim? Are you there?
he went to the mountains.
Yeah,
He's back there.
While
Okay,
we're getting to Jim, I don't have it to show, but one of my favorite stamps is the Air Force 5th anniversary airmail, 6 cent. It has a B-52 Stratofortress and an
Love it.
F-104 Starfighter.
Yeah.
It's shown in Scott as C-48. And I like a lot. I like all of the early airmail because they're all engraved, well done. They have the subject matter that. And unfortunately, on what I collect, I normally can't see anything higher than a 6 cent for the early for postcard because for some of the others, like you know the dollar Zeppelin is never going to be on a 1900s postcard unless it was a collector who did it as a Cinderella kind of thing, because there's no legitimate rate for that. So, but that's a beautiful stamp, and that would be one of my favorites.
okay,
So, thanks.
all right, Ralph, yeah, Jim?
Did you
Yes,
catch anything while you were away?
Yeah. Sorry, I had an alarm go off. I had to go take care of.
Okay, no problem.
Uh, as far as a favorite, I don't know. As a child, I was really excited about all the African stamps. You know, the very colorful, Togo, Tonga, Congo, all of those countries that no longer exist. Had beautiful stamps with the animals on them. And then I got involved with what used to be called, long time ago was Europe, I guess, Romania and Slovenia and Yugoslavia and all those. And I learned more by getting those stamps with names on them I couldn't even read, never mind know what they were, and go to the World Book and look them up. Who was it? These funny looking old guys. So I still recommend to everybody. Kids, collect stamps. Coins are
Yeah.
fun, but the stamps are a lot more educational.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometime must have been about 51 or 50. I don't know if I can get this show up or not.
Kind of goes in and out.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah, because you
probably-
got that virtual background.
Yeah. My family took a trip through central and southern Texas, and we stopped in San Antonio, visited a pastor friend of my family down there, and my dad told him I was collecting stamps, and he had these two. They're from Sudan, letters from missionaries, but I thought this was the most interesting thing. And I'm sorry, I cannot remember what the name of it is, but where you got the paper, you write your letter in it, and then you fold it up and make the envelope.
Aerogram?
Yep.
Aerogram, yeah,
Folded letter.
yeah, with stamps from Sudan on it with a running camel, and that's one of my most cherished, I guess, of all of it. Plus, I have a letter from a Marine in Da Nang when it was being overrun, and has the red clay and mud fingerprints all over it.
Oh, wow.
That was, no amount of money would buy that one from me. I don't,
Yeah.
but I just love stamps, period. Always fascinated by the history in them.
Okay. Well,
Great
Ken?
story.
Yeah, okay. Well, I am going to show you the only stamp that I've ever won a competition for. And I'm coming down from Stanley's 4.5 cents to 4 cents.
Okay.
And let me see if I can do a share screen. Now, why is it showing that? Oh, I don't see it. My share screen has come up. If I click on share,
Mhm.
it should be desktop, but
There
it
it is.
doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, there it is.
Have you got it?
No.
You got a-
No?
In the
we have the
2000
Zoom. Now
There
we
you go.
We
You
got
can
it.
see that.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, the competition was bring us the ugliest stamp you've ever seen.
Okay.
And this I thought was the ugliest stamp I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree.
You remember when the postage went up from 25 cents to 29 cents, they printed a lot of F stamps with the picture of a flower on it, F for flower, not knowing what the rate was going to be. And so they wanted to have a sort of a make weight stamp so that people who had lots of 25-cent stamps to use up could put an extra bit on, and they didn't know whether it would be a 1 cent or 2 cent or whatever. So they made this one that turned out to be worth 4 cents. Now, what's unusual, of course, is that normally you would see a cover with a 25-cent stamp and one of these. This is really unusual that somebody used a block of 12 to pay 48 cents worth of postage. And as you can see, it was used in 1992. So I think it's rather unusual.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
But while we're on the do you call this a make weight? Is that the term that's used for something that bridges the gap when the rates change?
Makeup rate?
A makeup rate, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some other makeup rates to show you, which I am actually very fond of, and that's these. In 1992, the domestic postage rate in Bermuda went up from 18 cents to 25 cents. And so the regular definitive series with the ships, they came out with a 7-cent stamp so that people with the, had a lot of the 18-cent stamps left could use an 18-cent plus a 7-cent. And they're very hard to find used. Early on, the catalog value in Scott was simply based on the fact, well, this is only 7 cents, so it'll only be a cheap stamp. but this particular one is the only one I've ever seen. That's in my collection. And this other one on the left, they put out, I don't quite understand this, they put out this, the rate change was in 1992, but this stamp came out 2 years later as a part of the definitive series that they put out. So I guess they thought that these would have been, maybe these were all used up and they still had a need for 7-cent stamps.
Yeah.
Well, my wife and I went to Bermuda for a wedding, a wedding anniversary celebration, and I went to the Perot post office there. You probably know that Bermuda was the second British colony ever to have stamps, and they were made by the Postmaster General William Perot, who became postmaster there in 1821. And in 1848, he produced these stamps of his own that look like postmarks, and only 11 of them exist anymore. But the very post office that he operated is now a museum, and within the museum is a post office. And while we were there, I went in and I bought I think 10 of these and put them on a couple of envelopes that I mailed to myself so that I would have some actual used examples of these stamps, because being a makeup rate, not very many of them are to be found, and the catalog value of these has gone up quite a bit. The other interesting thing is that you'll see it's a red postmark, and that's because if you post a letter from that particular museum post office, it gets a red postmark. So if you've ever seen a Bermuda stamp with a red postmark, you know that it came through that historic post office.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I get out of screen? Oh, we go. Stop.
Stop screen share.
There we
you
go.
There we go. Okay, well, Peter, I know you got something.
Yeah. Well, actually 2 items, but
Go for it.
one show and tell and the other one more along the lines of favorite stamps. So I'll show this here briefly here, but I think I did a scan of this to make it easier to see than me. I gotta go find it here. Okay, so it's not this. All right, let me see here. I think I just took a screenshot of it. There it is. All right, so I actually do trade some stamps, believe it or not. This is the envelope that I got 4 days ago is what you see down here. I don't know, do you see my cursor move
Where's your cursor?
on the screen or not?
No.
It's hovering around the lower right stamp, so I'm not sure if you just see the screen or you actually see my cursor. But anyway, if you look at the cover at the bottom, that's what arrived in the mail. If you look at it, let me see here a little bit closer, you'll see the stamp says Bye 2020, hello 2021. And of course the zeros are, guess what, our favorite molecule, or whatever you want to call it, COVID thing, and then hello 2021. And there's actually a little heart behind the 21, or behind the 20 there. You see it there.
You've got two things on the screens here, Peter. Can you get rid of the one that has the multiple pictures and just show your envelope?
Well, I am.
Double click on the envelope, Peter.
No, it's one screen. It's one scan featuring everything.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're showing everything that's in your directory on the other side there.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't see the directory on the side on mine.
The entire folder is open on our screen.
Yeah, all I see is the actual Microsoft Office Picture Manager as the active one.
Oh, okay.
Judy, it might help if you go into a view.
Oh, okay, I see it now. Oh, it's
speaker
weird.
view.
It shows different on my big screen monitor than it does on my other one. So, no, that's weird.
That's Microsoft for you.
Well,
Judy, if you
I'm-
guys go into speaker view, it might help. It'll make it a little bit better.
well, I'm not sure. Well, okay, that's because now I have to operate it from here. Well, no, I can't. So it's weird. I'm actually seeing this full screen on my thing. I opened it up on my desktop, so I'm sharing my desktop, not my tablet screen. But yeah, I see what you're saying. I was looking at the big screen. So I don't know how to make that any
Yeah, and I'm not seeing a
Peter, it
I
might
have
be better if you hold it up there.
share screen or.
I've got it maximized, so I'm not sure why you guys are seeing the other one.
I see your cursor now.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I switched to the other one. Do you see the whole thing now, or
No,
that is weird? I mean, I got a million tabs open.
Okay, view.
Peter,
options.
where does that stamp show the value, the denomination?
Well, it's the stamp on on the envelope says international, so it's the international rate from the Netherlands.
Oh, I see.
If you look at the postmark, Neuwagen, whatever, it was mailed on January
Right.
27th, and it got here on February 13th. So
Mhm.
17 days, which is really not bad, all things considered, from the
And now
Netherlands.
the stamps, were they in the envelope?
Yeah, the stamps you see above it, the other four that you
Yeah.
see above it on the same scan, yes, those were in it. They're all
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay, okay.
they're all COVID related stamps. So either showing masks on the one on the right. The middle two are actually the same. I don't know why you sent me two of those. And then another COVID molecule there.
Okay.
Now, you notice anything odd about a couple of the stamps on here?
Well, what I notice is that they say December, and every year they put out stamps in November that are called December stamps, and that's because having Christmas stamps would be offensive to the Muslims and other religious groups.
Well, that's correct. But the other thing is those stamps actually cost less than the regular stamps that you would buy for correspondence. So you also get a discount, but you can only mail them in December. So you can mail them again the next December, I presume, but that's what I was told by my collector over there, who's actually a collector of chicken stamps, believe it or not, C's Prince, who I once ordered a custom Zazzle stamp featuring chicken design that he had, since, you know, you can't order those stamps with a foreign address, but I could. So he sent me the money, sent the stamps to me, and then I forwarded it on to him. Now, all the stamps that you see here are essentially custom stamps. They are not regular Netherlands Postal Service stamps, especially the one on the cover, 2021 one is a custom stamp. And that, he said, he only ordered a sheetlet of 5. That's all that exists. And I have one. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
20% of the market. No, why?
yeah.
Well, you know, it's a kind of fun. Let me see. I was going to. So that's kind of what I got in the mail here, which let me see. Now I have to go find the other stamp. Where the heck did I have it here? Ah, I got so much data. It's unreal. Where the heck is it? Oh, I had it down here. All right, sorry. I got a gazillion folders on my system, so
What was that one marked pornography? Oh, just
That was
kidding.
a quick eye.
you must be seeing things that aren't there.
Well, that was my directory. I'm sorry.
So again, it's weird. I see the screen come up superimposed on top of the folder view on the right. It's kind of weird. What I see on my desktop monitor is different, even though that's what's sharing is than what I'm seeing on the same screen on my tablet. But anyway, so my most intriguing stamp is probably this right here. A halfpenny vertically overprinted revenue stamp that's bisected. Now the stamp is real. The overprint revenue, of which you see ENUE, is real. Halfpenny is what's in doubt.
Huh.
Now,
Bisect is in doubt
I've
also.
got lots of copies of the regular 6-pence stamp. Well, I've got other versions of that stamp. Trying to find, okay, like here's a regular 6-pence revenue stamp of that same series. To my knowledge, there are no value overprinted revenue stamps from, well, yes, there are actually. This one and this one here exist as 3-pence overprints on the 6-pence stamp, but they also overprinted the word revenue diagonally. These are not necessarily cheap. And I've got a bunch of those, but on the 6-pence, oh, I bypassed one. So this would be like a regular version of it. And again, I think well, I don't know exactly what happened. Now, I bought my fake version of this stamp back in about 1977 or 78 when I was in high school. And you can tell I have a lot of these. Um, get back to this one here.
It
So,
seems to be perforated as the means of separating two halves.
Yeah, what's it? It
right,
is.
Was
but I
that done
mean,
initially?
there is precedent for overprinted and bisected stamps in St. Vincent during that time period, even with the revenues where they had a 3 pence diagonally over a 6 pence. However, St. Vincent did not have any revenue items that required a fractional penny. They had 1 pence, 3 pence, 6 pence, 1 shilling, 5 shilling, and even I think a £1 or 25 pound value. There was no need absolutely for a halfpenny revenue stamp. Now, that said, there was actually a need for halfpenny regular postage stamps, and they did overprint some stamps halfpenny for St. Vincent, but not spelled out, HALF penny. It was 1/2, for a half. Those exist, and there also exist on 6 pence stamps. Now, what is real? I mean, again, the stamp is real, the revenue part is real, the halfpenny and the vertical bisects are not real. I bought this stamp when I was a teenager. So about, I don't remember exact date, but I'll put it around 1977, 78, 79 at the latest, because that's when I graduated high school, from a stamp dealer in Midland, Michigan for $20. I mean, think about it. $20 in 1979 for a kid. I could have filled my car up for like 2 months of driving for that. So anyway, and I've tried to research this stamp ever since, and I have not found anything about this. There was a guy now deceased who was the eminent St. Vincent authority who had, if there were 3 St. Vincent stamps known, he had all 3, that type of thing. I did meet him at the Pacific 97 stamp show, the international one we had here. He was there. He lived in Australia. His name was Peter Jaffe, Jaffe. Although when I actually met him, I think mentally was probably not quite there anymore. And he passed away shortly after. He had his stamp exhibit there. I was actually trying to ask him about this, but I just couldn't really get much of a response out of him. So he may have been into, some form of dementia at that point. His exhibit did win an international gold and all that. And it was kind of, I do have a copy of his exhibit, believe it or not. Somebody anonymously sent me photocopied pages of his exhibit, so I scanned them in. So I do have what he exhibited. And before, it was all broken up during some international auction where different people with lots of money were able to buy things. Yet this item never showed up. And so I could not find out anything from him about this item. Now, I was at the APRL library in where are they at, Altoona or Camp Hill, wherever they are in Pennsylvania, and one time, and I tried to do some research there, and I did find reference of something like this in a 1882 or 1883 German philatelic, newspaper of the period that talked about something like this very briefly, and I don't have a copy of it, but they didn't really say much. And I found out later there was another issue where they supposedly talked about this, but it was in reference to it being a counterfeit at the time, not to have people, I mean, why would you want to take a 6 pence stamp and turn it into a halfpenny stamp? That makes no sense. This was created more than likely as a Cinderella item, if you will, fake anyway, to fool, other collectors of the period. But since 1978, I have not seen or heard anything in current media about this stamp. And of course, the big question is, where's the left half of this thing? So this has kind of been the most intriguing stamp I have in my collection. It's half of a kind. I can't really say one of a kind. It's half of a kind, but you know, and the only backstory I have to it is that more than likely, according to some German newspaper, whose one edition is not in the APRL library, although all the others are, and the other one does briefly mention this, kind of in conjunction with it potentially being a fake. So it was reported back in the 1880s. But it is a very interesting item, to say the least.
Peter, what do the ones with the numerical half look like?
I am trying to think if I have one of those. Let me see here.
There is
Where-
one pictured on a website called stampforgeries.com.
Yeah, I know there was a guy in used to be in the Netherlands, I think, or somewhere, Singapore maybe, who had let me see if I can.
But they show that half penny one.
Some of my older St. Vincent stuff here. And Ken, one of those St. Vincent impers came from you. Remember we traded once years
Right,
ago?
yes, yes.
This one right here, that one's from you.
Yeah, yeah.
Or maybe this one. I don't remember. I have two of them, but usually they're collected in pairs, but I do have them.
Mine didn't have a big margin like that.
No, though yours was probably the other single then. Let me see if I have any of those when they did the half pence ones.
So the halfpence ones, were they also revenue?
No. The half pence were generally 6-pence stamps overprinted half penny. Well, here's one, for example. It had a red one. Well, that was a 1 pence over 6
yeah.
pence. No, there's a black one.
You
okay,
just
had it right
yeah.
there.
yeah, right there. So that's
So
how
they-
they normally did those. So having it spelled out is just something you normally don't see.
Hmm.
I mean, okay, so you can say that there was a precedence for a half penny postage stamp, but there was not for a half penny revenue stamp, because they actually ran out of the regular half penny stamps, which were these orange jobs right here. And I'm actually lucky enough to have a full sheet,
Oh,
which you don't find very often. Now, I guess you could say in theory, but again, would have to be proven somehow, that half penny over 6-pence revenue stamp was created because they ran out of other 6-pence regular stamps and used a revenue stamp to make yet more half penny provisionals. It's possible. Whether that has merit to it, I don't know. And the only person that might have even known is now deceased. So
You'd have to find it on cover somewhere to really.
well, yeah, like I said, there seems to be it's bisected, so I presume somebody made a second half of it. Now you can see that the perforations on this one, are actually very clean cut, but obviously these perforations were done long after the regular stamp was printed and perforated in England, while this stamp would have been made in overprinted on St. Vincent. Now again, the red 1 pence over 6 pence was also made in St. Vincent, as far as I remember, and it has a much more crudely done perforation down the middle, in this case on the right side, because this one almost looks too clean. I presume it's real, but maybe they had a different print shop do it. I don't know. Versus the revenue stamp is a little bit and I do have lots of interesting St. Vincent revenues. This is a real estate contract or title. Here's a check that I wrote in 79, that out of my personal checking account to buy stamps from the philatelic services, and they had to use a modern stamp on the back, to pay the revenue. So, revenue stamps on document to me are always way more interesting than just a plain revenue stamp. But yeah, if you look at this one, it's got not super clean cut perfs. But again, I don't know. This is just an intriguing item, and I don't know what to do with it. I mean, of the 3 elements of the stamp, 4 elements of the stamp, 2 are fake, potentially, and 2 are certainly real. Stamp real, revenue real, Vertical bisect, probably not real. Halfpenny overprint, probably not real. Could be. I mean, it certainly looks like it was done in period with the kind of, fonts that were used and everything else, but I can't really, say much more about it than that. So if anybody ever finds the left-hand side of this thing, please contact me.
I think it's pretty unusual that a country would actually use perforations for a bisect. Normally we think of bisects as just snipped diagonally or snipped vertically.
Well, they must have
whatever.
done enough of this and they were selling it to
Yeah.
people, over the
Maybe
counter.
It
But
was a rate that they needed for some reason and didn't.
right,
Yeah.
but you saw that there was a 1/2 cent stamp and there was also provisional 1/2 cent stamps at the time. Now, some people argue that some of these were, maybe they couldn't wait for the next boat from England, but they needed them. I don't know what halfpennies paid for. It may have been just a local rate within St. Vincent, which isn't very big. It's like 18 miles north to south, about 11 miles east to west, so not super big.
Typically, Peter, the green stamps in the colonies were for printed matter. So a regular letter would require 1 penny, and printed things, your circulars and things like that, would go for a 1/2 penny.
Well, I mean, you see what it is. The 1 pence stamps in St. Vincent were predominantly red, as like the British red pen stamp would have been. The 6 pence were pretty much always green. There was a penny black that St. Vincent had. There was also a 1 shilling. I don't know. I think this one is a dark violet or gray. So you can tell the 1 pencers are pretty much red. The halfpenny was either green or yellow. The first version was kind of yellow. The second version was green. Then they had a blue 4 pence. They had a yellow or whatever color that is.
There was
They had
a
5 pence that was brown.
There was a
1 shilling.
UPU regulation that said that first class domestic should be red, international should be blue, and printed matter should be green.
Well, when did those regulations come into play? I'm trying to remember when St. Vincent joined the UPU.
I don't know the answer to that, but it seems to me that it was in the late 19th century that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the UPU was like 1872, was it? Or
Yeah, but they didn't issue that regulation immediately.
yeah, but I mean, you can see there's black 1 penny stamps. There's dark bluish green 6 pence stamps. Of various shades of green that you can tell. 4 pence was generally blue. If there was a the 1 shilling was, vermilion, whatever the color is. But the halfpenny was also green in addition to red and black. One of the later halfpenny stamps was actually green. Then this was the next one that was green. 4 pence was blue. Another, I mean, they had a kaleidoscope of colors in St. Vincent. I guess that's what attracted me to it to begin with. Kind of like, the British, what do you call them, the Mammashan stamps with their million different colors. So these are all stamps from my collection here. So, and they did have various overprints. There was 2.5 pence was an overprint, 1 pence over 2.5 pence over 1 pence. So kind of a back to where it started from overprint. Now, I do actually have a full sheet of these as well. There's a 5 pence on 4 pence stamp, a 5 pence on 6 pence stamp. I mean, that's before they went into the key plate issues. So, it's a fascinating area to collect, certainly. And, people that have known me long enough know that St. Vincent is one of my few traditional St. Vincent, collecting areas. So then, of course, there's the whole thing with forgeries. This is a fake 1 shilling stamp. Well, the revenue stamp is real. If you look very closely, they try to make this into a make-believe used postally stamp, which it wasn't, because you can see the somebody's initials that were on the stamp at the top of the fake cancel. And it looks like they try to, not white out, but I guess vermilion out the handwritten signature that's normally on these type of stamps. So you can still see revenue, but then they said, oh, but it's got a postmark on it. Well, the postmark's fake. This postmark is fake. This stamp says it's a fake. And I'm the only person that has ever seen to have a full sheet of 8 of these before they applied the fake overprint, which also down here reads false on this one, or facsimile and then false. So these are all fakes of this stamp. And again, I have this one parked in here for good measure. There's obvious fakes that look like this. And if you have a 1940 Scott or international album, this was actually the illustration used in the album, not even of the real stamp. There's a fake one of these, you know, another fake overprint. The overprint of the cancel for St. Vincent was A10, not 10. And the stamp itself is a poorly lithographed counterfeit. Again, another way of making a revenue stamp look like it's supposedly used to the unsuspecting user, because back then people discounted revenue stamps. They had no value. So if you could say or try to fool somebody into thinking that, oh yes, look, it's got a really nice A10 cancel on it, which was St. Vincent's cancel, then you know, people might believe you. Is it possible that a revenue stamp did do postal duty? I have yet to see one on cover, ever. I mean, all I see is all these fake cancels on the, you know, on these stamps. You know, really bad looking versions of these cancels. Stuff that just didn't exist, like something with a 6. That's almost too perfect looking, but the stamp is an obvious lithograph. And I have a fairly large, and this is the only fake St. Vincent stamp that is reasonably close because it's actually engraved. But if you look at the line below the word St. Vincent, it's kind of wavy, and the real one was never wavy. It was always dead on straight. And that exists in different varieties as well, even with fake impressed watermarks. Anyway, getting off the thing with revenue stamps, but you know, there's a lot of interesting stuff to collect from St. Vincent, even fiscal postage ones, and you know.
Okay, Peter. Yeah.
Did you check the Stanley Gibbons catalog on that?
They don't really say anything about any of this stuff. I mean, it's too specialized.
Okay.
Okay. Last but not least, Judy.
Okay, my favorite one is the Legends of the West, but I don't have it to show you because it's in the safe deposit box. I have sold off my US collection completely except for the Legends, but I still have my airmail stamps, both the plate blocks and the singles. And my favorite of that, Stan bought me one year, I think for my birthday it was, the baby Zeppelin. If you can, there we go. And that is the only Zeppelin you're gonna find in my collection.
I was going to ask if you had the plate blocks on the Zeppelin stand.
Oh, no, don't even have that, but that's my favorite. I mean, I've always loved the Zeppelins. I think they just were a beautiful, I would love to have ridden on one, but
Except the Hindenburg.
yeah, except for the Hindenburg.
Last
Yeah. But anyways, that's
Preferably not the Hindenburg.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. No, the Legends of the West, when they came out with the lottery, I asked all my friends and family to send in entries for me. So I had, I don't know how many were turned in.
10.
No, it was more entries were turned in,
Oh.
but I got 10 sheets. And yeah, but I have sold a few, and I sold one to Ken Karush. He wanted one of them, so we made a deal on one, and then I've sold some others to other people, I guess. But
Yeah, we have one in the vault that's still in the original container, never been opened.
yeah. So those are my interesting stamps.
Judy, just for your
Yes.
information, the lady who was curator of the National Postal Museum at Smithsonian is a big collector of Zeppelin stamps.
Cheryl Gans?
Cheryl Gans, yeah.
Wow. Well,
So if you ever look her up, I think she's actually made some presentations on Zeppelin stamps. I'll look for that. I think I've got a video of that. I'll
okay.
send
Yeah,
you a
if you
link.
could,
Send you a link to
send it
that. You can actually
yeah.
take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
Maybe if I sweet talk her, she might give me a couple.
I wouldn't bet on it. She's a
I
pretty
wouldn't bet
nice
on
lady.
it either. Hey, but I do have a question. A famous female air pilot just passed away. And I wish Ray Cartier was on with us because he talked about one of those air, you know, she worked with in the space world. And I just was wondering if she was that same person that he knew, because she used to live, I want to say in Keller or someplace north of here. But anyways,
Emily Howell Warner.
I think that was it, yes.
Her middle name's my last name. That's pretty interesting.
Huh, okay,
Wonder if I'm related to her.
yeah.
She broke a sky-high glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Died at 80 years old.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's all I have to say.
Okay, well, I guess it's time for the drawing.
Oh,
We
Oh,
have,
One quick thing,
uh-huh.
I use a boatload of Jenny stamps, upside down ones. I probably have like 12 more sheets sitting here. Normally, I don't pay much attention to that envelope on the outside, but apparently they have two printings of the envelope. One is the one you normally see, which is with a black and white illustration of the
Right.
stamp. The other one, if you look at it, is with a red
Is it-
illustration. Now,
Huh.
when I first saw that, I was just looking at everything before I opened it up. I said, wow, there's two envelopes in here that are red. Could that be the big lottery winner here?
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately not. It was just another upside down one. But I was, the envelopes are identical with the exception, the text is black, and in one case the stamp is red and the other one is not. And if you look closer to it, the illustration of this airplane itself is slightly different. The shading is a little bit different. And if you look at really up close and look at the engraved line type areas of that, I mean, it's probably not engraving there, but it is different. So they definitely had a different run of that envelope when they
Yeah.
made the original, stamps themselves to put these into. Anyway, I thought that was kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
should
And I don't think I've never heard anybody mention anything about the
Yeah.
envelopes. I mean, if you collect this stuff, it might be neat to have. I mean, it's just the open envelope. I have two of those now. And probably I've actually left at the Mid-City Stamp Club meeting probably 50 or 100 of these empty envelopes over the years. And I've bought a lot of these because every week I mail out multiple envelopes with $4 plus of postage on them, which is great. I can use two of these and other stuff for the makeup for the rest of the rate.
Well, it sure is good to have some eagle-eyed stamp collectors in our club.
But isn't that what we're supposed to be doing, is just checking things out, not glossing over them?
But I'm guilty of just looking at a stamp and passing it on. I'm so glad there are those of you guys like you and Rick and Ken and Ralph and Bob or Jim who have these eagle eyes. I mean, I'm
And even then, every time I have like 40 articles waiting to be written about been there, done that things for me. And every time I turn around, I find more. Like just today, I found this stamp and this one, both of which are right now are images off the internet, but I've actually ordered the actual stamp from different eBay sellers. And yes, I can say been there, done that. I've been on the French Metro and I've been on the London Underground, aka the Tube. So I have not pictures of me on them, but pictures I took during those trips. One of them would show, say, Annie, and the other one would show a friend of mine that I traveled with on that trip. But every time I turn around, I seem to find more stuff,
Peter, you're standing between us and a drawing.
Okay. I want to win.
okay, Jim, I've got 7 names here.
7.
Yes.
Oh,
Well, you
me.
guys count as 2.
And I've randomly assigned numbers. So give me a number between 1 and 7.
4.
Number 4. Ralph Poor.
All right,
Oh,
Ralph.
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Ralph, give me a number.
7.
Ken Wills.
Thank
Great.
you.
Okay.
Okay, one more.
Yes.
Ken, give me a number.
1.
Number 1. Peter.
Yay!
All right.
That's 2 in a row for me. That's like first time ever
Yeah.
in the same month.
I better make a note of this
Yeah,
here.
make a note. of it.
Yeah.
Don't draw Peter again ever.
No, Judy will mail you your
Yeah.
certificates.
Yeah, I did get the other one. Yes, thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you
Peter
for that,
and,
Judy.
Peter and Ralph, when I mail you your checks, I'll mail you your certificate. And Ken, I will mail you your certificate, or we'll bring it
Well,
to you.
Stanley's going to bring something over so he
Yeah.
can do
Yes,
that at
we'll
the same
just
time.
bring it to you. All
Yeah,
right.
Oh, I was gonna say Skip picked up 2 boxes that I got. One was from a guy I met down in at Kubi's in front of Kubi's Sausage House, who had a little box of stuff from his father, I guess, or his parents. Wasn't anything major there. There were some mint US stamps in there, older ones, 3-4 cent material, like cigar box full. And then Byron Sandfield gave us another, actually a large plastic tub, brand new. The tub's probably worth more than the stamps, but
Yeah,
there was
if
a
it
whole,
came from- yeah, if it came from Byron, I'll guarantee that.
Right.
well, there was a lot of good stuff in there. Anything from, some decent stuff to soap to, there was a whole pile of United Nations mint year sets from all 3 entities, New York, Geneva, and Austria. Again, we know that mint
Which
UN
nobody
aren't worth much.
wants.
Right, but that's probably why he took them in and then donated them to the club, but still might be, useful to somebody. And then the usual assortment of stuff, but it was a tub that's about the size of my monitor, like 2 feet long, 1.5 feet tall and wide. And he actually donated the tub to go with it. And then Skip came by my house the other day and picked them up. So
Very great. Well, I'm going to say bye to everybody,
Yes.
and
Bye,
thanks,
Dan.
Good night, Ken.
thanks, Rick, for doing the Zoom for us, and thanks, Stanley,
Sure.
for running the meeting.
Well, thank you for coming and joining us.
Yeah, we'll see you at, maybe we'll see you at Granbury.
yeah, that's right. That'd be coming up.
Oh, good idea. Yeah.
And Stan, get me the minute meetings as soon as you have them so I can
Yeah, I
just,
sure will.
I'll pester Rich for the,
So when is the Granbury?
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Okay. I'll see if I can.
Tuesday of every month.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, well, y'all take care, and
Stay
right, you too.
warm. Keep
Bye.
it
Good
on.
night, everybody.
nice having our camera right.
Yes.
Hey,
Okay, bye.
progress.
All right, good night.